The internet is on fire, y'all. And it's all because of NBA YoungBoy's latest bombshell that just flipped the entire rap game upside down. Fans are in complete shock. And honestly, so are we, in a late-night live stream. While the world thought he was just vibing out, YoungBoy did the unthinkable. Out of nowhere, he looked straight into the camera and said Kendrick Lamar, the real GOAT. Drake, just emotional. Hold up, did YoungBoy just throw shade at the Six? God himself. You already know the internet exploded. Drake's stans came swarming. The comments? Pure chaos. Tweets. Viral IG stories. Screenshotted to death. And to make it even crazier, insiders say Drake was watching that live, and he ain't take it well. But wait, it don't stop there. What seemed like a random opinion might be a deeper betrayal behind the scenes. Rumors are flying that there's beef brewing, backroom deals breaking down, and secret messages being sent between the lines of lyrics and IG captions. So what really went down between Y and Drake? Why Kendrick? Is this the start of a new era? Or the end of YoungBoy's peace with the industry? Stick around, because it only gets wilder from here. It all started with one interview. One moment. One quote that changed everything. NBA YoungBoy was sitting in his usual quiet, calm, unpredictable mood. He had just wrapped up a new music session and was on a rare live session with a low-key podcast out of Baton Rouge. Nothing major, nothing flashy. Just YoungBoy, a mic, and a room full of yes-men. Or so we thought. The host leaned in and asked the question that's been floating around the culture forever. If you had to name the greatest rapper of all time, who you got? Straight up, no industry politics. Just facts. For a second, the room went silent. You could literally hear the mic buzzing. YoungBoy stared down at the floor, took a deep breath, and without even blinking, he said, Kendrick? No pause. Pause. No explanation. Just one word. One name. And that was all it took. The room went stiff. The host let out a nervous laugh, like he didn't know if YoungBoy was joking or trying to start a riot. Someone in the background whispered, "You serious?" And YoungBoy just looked up and nodded slowly. Ain't nobody do it like him. Not Drake, not nobody. Kendrick, speak what we feel. What we scared to say. That's real rap. By the time the live ended, that single clip had already been screen recorded and reposted 100 times. Within minutes, it was all over Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and the comment sections. Absolute war zones. Fans couldn't believe what they were hearing. Some were praising YoungBoy for speaking his truth, calling him brave, real, woke. Others, they were furious. They felt betrayed. How could you say that? One fan posted under a viral tweet, Drake showed you love when nobody else did. Now this, and that's when things really started spiraling, because this wasn't just about music anymore. This was about loyalty, history, alliances, and deep, unspoken beefs that nobody in the industry wants to talk about out loud. See, what most people don't know is that Drake and NBA YoungBoy had been moving closer and closer behind the scenes. Private convos, secret FaceTime calls, mutual respect between two heavyweights who rarely align with anyone. Word on the street was that Drake had even been considering a feature on a future YoungBoy project, something that would have shaken the entire game. But now, all of that was in flames, and the timing couldn't have been worse. Drake had just dropped a new project, and his fan base was already on edge from mixed reviews and online criticism. Kendrick, on the other hand, had been quiet. Too quiet. Until YoungBoy's statement lit the match. Now, all of a sudden, everyone was talking Kendrick again, dissecting his lyrics, calling him the silent king. People were even going back to that Kendrick verse, unlike that, and saying maybe YoungBoy was subtly co-signing Kendrick's shots at Drake the whole time. And if that wasn't wild enough, Drake's circles started reacting. Subtle shade, petty posts, and some very, very loud silence. One of Drake's close producers liked a shady tweet. That said, some rappers bite the hand that feeds them. Another Toronto artist posted a cryptic story. Don't ever play both sides. We see everything. Fans were connecting dots that maybe weren't even there. But the damage was done. The divide was deepening, and behind closed doors. People in YoungBoy's camp were getting nervous. His manager reportedly was begging him to walk it back, telling him to clarify what he meant before the industry blackballed him again. People were scared. This wasn't just a hot take. This was stepping on the toes of the biggest machine in the game. The OVO Empire. But YoungBoy, he wasn't backing down. He went back on live 2 days later, smoking, calm, and completely unbothered. I said what I said. Y'all gone? Feel it or not? That's on y'all. And that's when fans knew. This wasn't just a random opinion. This was a message. People started digging deeper into the past, finding old clips of YoungBoy vibing to Kendrick, screenshots of lyrics he'd posted on his stories. Even a resurfaced interview from 2021 where he said he respected rappers who don't talk too much but say everything in their music. The theory: YoungBoy had always looked up to Kendrick, always saw himself in that same rebellious, misunderstood energy. But he stayed quiet. Until now, meanwhile, Kendrick didn't say a word. As usual, but that silence, that only made it louder because fans took it and ran with it. The narrative was being written in real time. Kendrick and YoungBoy are the real one. Viral tweet said, "Drake makes hits. These two make impact." Hashtag Kendrick the GOAT started trending again. So did hashtag Why Be Better? Not just a troll. And for the first time in years, fans were watching a real shift in the culture. Not just Drake versus Kendrick, but YoungBoy stepping into a new role. Not just as the wild, unpredictable one, but as someone planting his flag, declaring his allegiance. And that's where things got personal. Because sources close to Drake's team started leaking that he was disappointed in YoungBoy. One insider even claimed Drake had said, "I thought we were building something. Guess I was wrong." People started speculating that Drake had already recorded a verse for YoungBoy and scrapped it, that the feature was coming. But now, never happening. And if that's true, it's a major loss for both of them. But especially for fans who are waiting on a once-in-a-generation collab. Even more bizarre, the rumors didn't stop there. One TikTok influencer claimed to have insider info that YoungBoy and Kendrick had already been in contact, that a private studio session had gone down months ago in New Mexico, where YoungBoy's been staying during his house arrest. No proof, no footage, just whispers. But in this culture, whispers become gospel in hours, especially when fans want to believe it. The comment sections turned into battlegrounds. People posting Kendrick the GOAT under every Drake post. OVO fans flooding YoungBoy's pages with rat emojis. Then YoungBoy fans clapped back with screenshots of Drake allegedly copying flows and ducking beefs. It got so bad, multiple fan accounts got suspended for harassment. One fan posted a side-by-side comparison of Kendrick's lyrical impact versus Drake's chart numbers. And the debate hit a whole new level. Was it about art or popularity, legacy or influence? Everyone had an opinion. Everyone had a side. And in the middle of it all, YoungBoy was just chilling. Posting selfies, smoking, occasionally responding to random fans with cryptic replies like they don't know half of it. And just when people thought it couldn't get any crazier, that's when the screenshot leaked. A blurry, possibly edited, possibly real screenshot of a DM that allegedly showed Kendrick Lamar messaging YoungBoy a single word: respect. No emojis, no context. Just that. Was it real? Nobody knows. But it didn't matter. The internet believed it. And once again, the narrative shifted. People started calling it the alliance. The idea that two of rap's most unpredictable giants, Kendrick and YoungBoy, were joining forces not just musically, but philosophically. A quiet revolution against the polished, label-backed industry machine. And that theory? That's exactly where part 2 begins. Because what happened next was something nobody expected. What happened next was something nobody expected. Less than 24 hours after that mysterious DM screenshot surfaced, something strange happened on Kendrick Lamar's official Spotify profile. Fans noticed a brand new playlist had been added, quietly, without promo or explanation. It was titled Voices That Matter. And guess who was sitting at number 1? NBA YoungBoy. Not a collab. Not a repost. Just one of YoungBoy's deeper cuts life support, sitting front and center, as if to say, this ain't just rap. This is connection. Within minutes, fans caught on. Twitter threads exploded. One user wrote, "This ain't a coincidence. Kendrick just low-key co-signed Y without saying a word." Another tweeted, "This playlist is more impactful than a feature. Real, recognize real." And that's when the rumors of the alliance started getting serious. People began connecting dots that never seemed to matter before, like how Kendrick's PG Long brand had been quietly expanding behind the scenes, recruiting young, rebellious voices who weren't tied to the mainstream machine. And who fits that mold better than NBA YoungBoy? Suddenly, everything felt like a strategy. Like chess, not checkers, but not everyone was clapping. Drake's camp was reportedly livid. One insider claimed that a massive PR campaign was being halted until they could assess the damage. And according to industry sources, the OVO team started pulling strings to suppress the story. Media outlets that usually jump on YoungBoy headlines. Silent interview clips that showed Kendrick's playlist. Mysteriously taken down, it was clear. Somebody with power was trying to keep this alliance out of the spotlight. But it was too late. The internet had already seen it, and then Drake made a move. 3 days after the drama peaked, Drake went live on Instagram, something he rarely does. At first, it seemed like a casual night. He was sipping, vibing, talking about tour memories. But then someone in the comments asked, "Who you got, Kendrick or YoungBoy?" And the smile on his face disappeared. He paused for a second, looked at the camera, and said, "I see what y'all doing. I ain't here for the drama. Let the music talk." But he wasn't done. A few minutes later, he started playing an unreleased snippet. And the lyrics. Pure venom. They switch sides for a quote. "I built lanes. They drive slow, they salute me, then go ghost. Guess the pressure made." Fold. Fans went crazy. Clips of the snippet went viral under the hashtag Drake Responds. Everyone assumed it was a shot at YoungBoy. Even though Drake never said a name, the tone was undeniable. It was slick. It was cold. And it was calculated, but YoungBoy. Still unbought, he didn't respond. No tweet. No post. No sneak disses. Instead, he dropped a new track on YouTube, no promo. No warning, just a black screen and raw bars. The title, I Ain't Industry. In the first verse, he rapped, "They talk slick on them lives. I live what they fantasize." Said he built the lane, but forgot I never asked to ride. And just like that, the war was officially on. Fans were losing their minds. The comment section turned into a digital battlefield. OVO fans calling YoungBoy a snake. Y fans saying Drake was feeling threatened. Kendrick stans sitting back like proud generals watching their soldiers go to work. And right in the middle of it all, Kendrick dropped a bombshell. Out of nowhere, PG Long posted a teaser clip. No artist name. No song title. Just a shot of a man in shadows standing in front of a burning car. And the voice. Unmistakable. You ever watch the throne fall from inside the castle? Fans immediately knew this was Kendrick. And the voice that came right after. "I was never invited inside. I broke the gate down. Double quotes, YoungBoy." The clip ended with the date. Friday. No year, no month. Just Friday, and just like that, the internet shut down. What was coming? A collab, a short film, a diss record. Nobody knew. But everybody was watching. Meanwhile, things were getting messy behind the scenes. Industry insiders were leaking texts. One screenshot showed a conversation between a well-known publicist and an unnamed artist, warning them to stay out of the YoungBoy and Kendrick mess if you want Drake to keep supporting your rollout. Another leak claimed that Spotify had been pressured to remove YoungBoy from some major playlists, but fans caught it and started tagging the platform nonstop. Demanding answers. TikTokers made exposés. YouTube channels dropped breakdowns. Conspiracy theories were everywhere. Some fans even suggested that Drake was planning to sign a new artist specifically to go after. YoungBoy in the booth like a chess. Peace in an industry war. But here's where it gets even crazier. YoungBoy's mom jumped into the mix. On her Instagram story, she posted a message that read, "Ain't no man make my son. He been real since day one. Keep crying behind them curtains. We see you." Fans immediately connected it to Drake. Others thought it might be aimed at the industry as a whole. But either way, the tension was undeniable, and still, no word from Kendrick. Not a tweet, not a post, not a sound. Just silence. The kind that feels heavy. Plan. Friday finally came. The world was watching. And that's when everything flipped. Instead of a music video or a diss track, PG Long released a short film on their official channel. It was abstract, weird, genius. Shot in black and white, with minimal dialogue, and in the last 30 seconds, it showed two boys, one with cornrows. Credits roll. No names, no music, no explanation. And that's silence. It was louder than any diss track. Fans were shook. Was this Kendrick telling YoungBoy not to engage? Was it a warning to the industry? A peace treaty? The theories started flying again. One Reddit user wrote, "This ain't about beef. This is about exposing the system. The machine that pits black artists against each other while they cash in." Another said, "Kendrick and Y are playing 4D chess. They already won, but not everyone agreed." Drake fans called it art house garbage. One OVO fan page posted, "When you can't beat us on the charts, you make short films." And just like that, the tension was back, but the biggest twist was still coming. Because while the internet was decoding hidden meanings and fighting in the comments, a private conversation was allegedly leaked. An audio clip posted on a low-follower account, claiming to be a phone call between two major label execs. In the clip, one voice says, "We need to push back that collab. Too risky right now. Drake ain't happy. Kendrick playing smart. But that kid don't care about consequences." The other voice says, "Let's cut him off before he becomes something we can't control." And just like that, fans realized this wasn't just a beef. This was a war, and the ones caught in the crossfire: the artists, the fans, the culture, which brings us to the next chapter in this chaos. Because Part 3 is where careers get tested. Loyalties get exposed, and one rapper makes a move so bold, it shakes the entire foundation of the game. And that's where everything changed, because right after that audio clip dropped, just hours later, MBA YoungBoy made his boldest move yet. With zero promo, zero warning, and absolutely no filter, he went live again. But this time, it wasn't just him chilling in a hoodie talking about music. This time, it was war. He had the phone in one hand, pacing his living room, a blunt in the other, and rage in his voice. He didn't name names, but he didn't have to. "They trying to stop me. They trying to block my music, take me off playlists, silence my voice. Why? 'Cause I speak for the ones who don't kiss industry ass. 'Cause I don't play by the rules. They mad 'cause I said Kendrick the GOAT. Well, he is. And you can cry about it." The comments were going insane. Fans flooding the live with fire emojis, crying emojis, snake emojis. It was a full-on digital riot. And then he said something nobody expected. "I got a tape ready. Not just me. Me and him. Yeah. Y'all gon' hear it soon." And with that, he ended the live. No names, no date, just that statement. But everyone knew what he meant, him and Kendrick. A full project. Twitter exploded. Posts flying every second. YoungBoy and Kendrick about to drop a tape together hit trending in less than 10 minutes. Fans were begging for confirmation. Journalists started calling managers. And then boom, just like that, PGL posted a single image. A black square with 2 lines of text, 2 minds. One message, no tags, no mentions. Just that, it was real, but if you thought the industry was mad before, this is where it got personal, because according to insiders, the project rumored to be called Silence of the Lambs was being pitched directly to streaming services. And the labels. Furious. There were whispers that certain platforms didn't want to touch it. Too controversial, too risky, and most importantly, too anti-machine. Meanwhile, Kendrick was still completely silent. No interviews, no tweets, no nothing. And somehow, that silence spoke louder than anything Drake or YoungBoy had said combined. But even silence can't stop a storm when it's already hit the ground. Around this time, Drake finally broke. Not publicly, but privately, and of course, in the messiest way possible, a screen-recorded FaceTime call leaked allegedly between Drake and an unnamed producer. The video showed only the producer's face, but Drake's voice was clear. And he wasn't calm. "I've been too quiet, man. They playing with my name like I ain't built this game. Like I ain't feed half these dudes. They want to switch up. Let 'em. But don't come back when it's cold outside." The internet ran with it. Again, memes flooded the timeline. One showed Kendrick and YoungBoy sitting at a campfire while Drake stood outside a mansion looking confused. Another meme said, "Drake, I made y'all. Kendrick and why? We made our own lane." But the most viral tweet? "This ain't just rap beef. This is revolution." And that's when the documentary drops started coming. In just 1 week. 4 different YouTube channels dropped full documentaries breaking down the entire situation, framing it like a war between the mainstream and the underground, the king and the rebels, the system and the outlaws. The views were crazy. One doc hit 2 million in 2 days. Another was monetized and sponsored by 2 different streetwear brands. This wasn't just gossip anymore. It was culture. Then. Another twist. A screenshot of Drake allegedly unfollowing multiple PB Clang affiliated accounts. Boom, instantly viral and even crazier. Rumors that he had taken YoungBoy off the guest list for his upcoming Uvo Fest. Someone tweeted, "How you get invited to the kingdom and then kicked out for speaking your mind?" But not everyone was on YoungBoy's side. A few big industry names came forward to defend Drake. One R&B singer tweeted, "Ain't nothing wrong with recognizing greatness, but don't tear down the ones who helped pave the way." A famous radio host said in his podcast, "Kendrick's a genius. YoungBoy's a force. But Drake's the architect. Don't forget that." And this created a whole new wave of tension. The culture started dividing. It wasn't just Drake versus Kendrick anymore. It was fans versus fans, creators versus creators, and artists versus the machine. Then came the moment that made everything real. Billboards, yes, billboards. Out of nowhere. Massive black billboards started popping up in 3 major cities: Los Angeles, Houston, and New York. Each one had a different phrase. "In law, I speak. You feel? Silence is revolution." In Houston, they crowned the wrong one. In New York, "The goats don't need your approval." No logos, no names, but the font. Identical to the PG Lang teaser now. The internet was convinced a full-length collaborative project between Kendrick and NBA YoungBoy was about to drop. But here's where it hit even deeper. A clip started circulating from a YoungBoy interview that never aired. It had been recorded months ago, buried deep in the archives of a local podcast. But somehow, someone leaked it. In the clip, YoungBoy's asked, "What's something you wish people understood about you?" His answer, "I ain't just trying to make noise. I'm trying to make people feel. But they too busy trying to make me pick a side I was never on." And then he added, "If you want to know how I really feel, wait till I link with the one who never had to explain himself." Double quotes, boom. That was months ago, long before the beef, long before the playlist, long before the Alliance. Fans started calling it the prophecy, saying this whole thing had been brewing way longer than anyone realized. And Drake, still no official statement, just vague captions and expensive visuals. But insiders say something huge is coming. And that's exactly where part 4 begins. Because in part 4, everything reaches the tipping point. A surprise move changes everything. A track leaks that wasn't supposed to drop. And someone makes a decision that might end a career, rewrite the rules forever. A surprise move changes everything. Right when fans thought they had the whole picture figured out, Kendrick and YoungBoy against the machine. Drake lurking in silence and the culture splitting down the middle. Something happened that nobody saw coming. A leak, but not just any leak. A track dropped on SoundCloud under a burner account. No cover art, no promo, no tags. Just one title, Ghosts in Palaces. The voice that came in first. Drake, and he wasn't playing nice anymore. The beat was haunting. Violins, soft 808s, and a slow burn that let the lyrics breathe in. Drake wasted no time. I gave M the codes. They printed their names, now they preaching like saints, while they whisper in shame, called me the system. But I built you a lane per. Now you align with the ghost who just vanished again. Fans instantly knew who he was talking about. The ghost was clearly Kendrick. The codes were the blueprint Drake gave to younger artists. And whisper in shame. That felt like a shot at YoungBoy choosing sides without ever giving a real explanation. But what really sent the internet into meltdown was the second verse, because after a short pause, another voice came in, and it wasn't YoungBoy. It wasn't Kendrick. It was J. Cole. Outoftnowhere.com. Precise and surgical. They want unity, but move with division per. Claiming truth, but don't show their intention. I stayed out the war. Still caught in collision per. Guess silence ain't peace when you stuck in the middle. That verse alone cracked the internet in half. Because J. Cole had been quiet through the whole drama. And now, suddenly, he's on a Drake track, clearly distancing himself from the Kendrick YoungBoy alliance. The timeline couldn't handle it. Cole picked a side. Started trending within the hour. Memes were everywhere. Some fans praising him for stepping up, others calling him a traitor for siding with Drake. One viral tweet said, Cole just burned the bridge with Kendrick forever. No coming back from this. But the chaos didn't stop there. Within hours, PG Lang removed every trace of J. Cole from their page. Even old visuals that included him were edited or archived. No captions. No statements, just silence. Again. And then the leaks started flying. One anonymous account claimed that Kendrick had reached out to J. Cole earlier in the year to join the silent revolution, but Cole declined, saying he wasn't built for civil war in rap. Another claimed that Kendrick had already written a response verse aimed directly at Cole but was holding it back for something bigger. And YoungBoy, still quiet, no live. No tweet. No new song. But that silence only made fans more paranoid. And then the footage dropped. Security cam footage from a studio in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Grainy, shaky, but clear enough to see. A man walking into a studio, hoodie pulled tight. Behind him, another figure, taller, dreadlocked. They disappear behind the door, and someone matched the time stamp with a local story about two black Escalades pulling up outside a private studio rental, allegedly rented under an alias linked to PG Lang's shell company. That was the proof fans needed. Kendrick and YoungBoy had finished the project, and it was locked and loaded, but before it could even release, the machine struck back. Multiple sources confirmed that major streaming services were delaying uploads of any new content from NBA YoungBoy due to pending copyright verification, something that had never happened before. A few hip-hop blogs suddenly went quiet. Pages that posted everything YoungBoy did daily, now posting nothing. And fans weren't having it. Boycott hashtags began. People flooded streaming services, demanding transparency. Kendrick fans joined in. OVO fans mocked the outrage, saying, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And then, boom! The biggest twist of all, Kendrick broke his silence. Not with a song. Not with a post. But with a public appearance, he showed up unannounced at a protest in South Central Los Angeles. No entourage, no cameras, just Kendrick, a hoodie, and a sign that read "Art over Algorithms." Photos of him flooded Twitter. The sign went viral. And on the back, scribbled in Sharpie 3 words, "The project lives." That night, NBA YoungBoy posted a story. No caption. Just him holding a flash drive up to the camera and smiling. Fans knew what it meant. They were going to drop the project. Anyway, not through the labels, not through the streaming giants. They were going rogue. And that's exactly what they did just past midnight. A link appeared on a mysterious website shared only via Reddit, 4chan, and some street-coded Twitter pages. The project was there. 10 tracks. Raw, unmastered, unapologetic. YoungBoy rapped like he was in pain, like he was fed up, calling out names, systems, snakes, and silence. Kendrick, as always, was surgical, poetic, but this time angry. Not yelling, but you could feel the fury in every line. One track titled "Press Play." Then "Pray" stood out the most. Kendrick opens with, "They told me don't speak or they'll strip me of grace, so I speak." Through the silence and carve out a space, YoungBoy follows. "They offered me chains when I asked for a throne. They gave me a mic, but told me to tone." The song ends with the sound of static. Then a quiet whisper, "This ain't music, it's war." And just like that, the internet broke. Millions downloaded the tape in under 24 hours. Torrent links were flying. Bootleg uploads got flagged and taken down instantly, but fans just kept reposting. Nothing could stop it. The media tried to spin it. Some blogs called it reckless. Some accused Kendrick and YoungBoy of staging drama for attention. Others praised the move as the most important rap moment since the Black Album and Drake. Still no official word, but sources say he was furious, that he pulled out of multiple interviews, that his next album was being pushed back due to strategic realignment. Some insiders even whispered that he's working on a full response tape. But here's what's real. The culture has changed. YoungBoy isn't just the wild card anymore. He's the voice of rebellion. Kendrick isn't just the poet. He's the strategist, the ghost in the shadows pulling strings without saying a word. And Drake, he's still the king. But for the first time in years, the throne is being questioned. The game will never be the same again. So let's break this down. 'Cause what just happened ain't just another rap moment. It's a full-blown culture shift. NBA. YoungBoy shocked the world by picking Kendrick Lamar over Drake as the GOAT hand instead of backing down from the backlash. He doubled down, again and again. And again, he made it clear this wasn't about clout. This was about respect, real artistry, raw emotion. Then came the silence, followed by the alliance. Kendrick Lamar, quiet as ever, moved like a shadow. No interviews, no tweets, no drama. Just calculated energy and that signature PG long mystery. But every move he made hit like a message. The playlist, the teaser, the silent film, and finally the project that dropped in the dead of night and blew the entire industry into pieces. Drake tried to keep it classy. Subtle shots, ghost verses, strategic silence. But even with all that, the culture started asking hard questions. Is the throne really his? Or has the next wave finally arrived? J. Cole got dragged into the crossfire. Fans turned on each other. Streaming services got exposed. And the streets. Oh, they're eating this up. Hashtags, memes, playlist wars, even Billboard beef. This wasn't a rap beef. This was a takeover. Kendrick and YoungBoy just pulled off what might go down as one of the boldest moves in modern rap history, a complete rejection of the mainstream, a rogue drop that broke the algorithm, and a message that can't be ignored. This is what real power looks like. But now the real question is, what happens next? Will Drake clap back with a full-blown diss tape? Will the industry blacklist NBA YoungBoy and Kendrick for going independent? Or are we about to see the rise of a new Air One where artists take control and the machine can't keep up? Either way, this story is far from over. And you already know we're going to be right here, covering every twist, every clapback, and every silent move that makes the internet explode. So now it's your turn. What do you think really happened? Was YoungBoy disloyal for turning on Drake? Is Kendrick silently plotting something even bigger? Or is the industry really that scared of two artists who can move without their permission? Drop your thoughts below. We want to hear it all. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another wild update in the rap game. And trust me, if you think this was wild, you ain't seen nothing yet. This is rap news, but not the way the labels want you to hear it. Stay tapped in, stay dangerous, and keep your ears to the streets. Stay dangerous and keep your ears to the streets.